Welcome back to One-on-One with Mr. U. Of course, I am your host, Mr. U. In studio with us, Marine vet, leadership coach, mentor, dynamic speaker, dedicated father and husband, and really good friend of mine, Coach T.O. Clay is in the building. Oh, man, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing amazing this morning, this afternoon, this evening, yesterday, and tomorrow. As above, so below. I'm just happy to be here, brother.
Copy
Happy to
that.
be
Copy
here
that,
with you.
man. Thank you for being here with us, man. If you're watching, listening for the very first time, upper right-hand corner of the screen is a QR code. It's going to allow you to grab all of our shows from One-on-One, previous episode with dynamic folks like T.O. You can check them all out and let us know how you like it. Go to Apple Podcasts, drop a 5-star review for us if you don't mind. Let us know how you love the show and the episode. Keep us going, putting out good content for you guys to consume, man. So we thank you for watching and listening today. Let's get into our convo for this. So this is my brother right here. We're going to go in a little bit because we got a lot that we talk about, that we know about each other, and we're learning, and we just been through several common experiences, man. But kind of give me a little bit of a background on you, brother. I know you got a deep childhood story. I want to hear that, and kind of how you got from there to where you are right now, man, in short. But share your story about your childhood, how you came up, man. What's that like?
Man, well, first and foremost, Yusuf, man, I thank you for allowing me to be here with you, bro. You, you're my brother, man, so I feel at home. And anytime I have the opportunity to speak, man, I'm very grateful. I'm very deliberate in the gratefulness of it, man. And I've been in that season, I would say, for the last, few weeks, man. I mean, I've been grateful, yes, but I'm just saying, really chiseling down, Yusuf, the last couple of weeks on gratitude and how I display that. And I keep going back to the same drawing board. It starts with the root. It starts with the root of my people. And when I start thinking internally, I see my grandmother. Both grandmothers, shout out to Alma Jackson Clay. I put this shirt on intentionally today because I said, man, she's still, forever present in my spirit. And my other grandmother, Hester Overstreet.
Shout out to Hester.
Absolutely, man. Just hearing that name, those two names, Yusuf, Alma and Hester. It's Hester, Hester, like the punt returner from Chicago back in the days, the Bears. But we say, Devin Hester. But we say Hester. With the A on. It's just, man. She's beautiful, bro. And so when I hear that question from whoever it may be, wherever I am, that's the first thing, Yusuf. I start thinking about that root of being a young fella and being around women of God, bro. Being around women of God, man. Just women who truly, as I could say at 49 years old today, embodied loving the Lord.
Wait a minute. 49-year-old today.
I'm 49 years old as of today. Today's not my birthday.
I ain't miss your birthday.
No, it's not today. I'll be 50 in August, man.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I didn't miss no birthday. Okay. I'm sorry.
It's cool. August the 10th, I will be 50 years old if God's willing. Because anything can happen, knock on wood, between today and August the 10th. I pray I'm here. I pray I see it. But Yusuf, that root, man, of home is something special. I wrote it in the memoir here to there, and you had just mentioned that. How did you go from here to kind of where you are today? I started at the root. I started at the foundation. I started at the knowledge, the knowledge of what I know internal to my family, and with the last name Clay, man, it holds a lot of weight. Alma Jackson, as you see in the middle, was my grandmother's maiden name, but she married a Clay. And that Clay is Theodore Clay. I never got to meet him. And neither one of my grandfathers I ever got to meet. They were both transition past before I was born. My older brother remembers, Theodore Clay. But All I've heard is just stories, man. The stories and the stories, and that root, foundation is in Kentucky, man. And again, the more and more I've been speaking about it, the more I realize I can't get away from it, bro. Like, because over all the years, people, man, you a Clay, Kentucky, Louisville, man, are you kidding Muhammad Ali? Like, it's always come up. And
Okay.
many a times, Yusef, I would be like, nah, I'm not, because it just always felt what my dad said, like, hey, you have to own your own story. You can't
I
be
love
running
that.
around, expecting people to like you because you running around screaming at everybody you cousins with Muhammad Ali type thing. Who are you? You gotta garner those type of relationships with people based on who you are, your legacy, and what you bring to the table. Much love to Ali, but at the same time, who are you? So, man, it goes really deep. It also ties into Henry Clay. Have you ever heard the name Henry Clay yourself?
I know I heard the name Henry Clay.
Yes, Henry Clay, bro, like the abolitionist. He had two brothers, one named Brutus, and one named Cassius. So when Ali was saying, man, that's a slave name, man, that ain't my name. I'm Muhammad Ali. Even in the ring when he was touching cats, you
Yeah.
will say my name. Uh, that root I tried to unravel. So,
Okay.
uh, so to be pinpoint right and exact on the question you just asked, bro. My root Clay from my father, Kenneth Joe Clay, who's been pastoring for over 60 years, give or take,
Oh my
somewhere along
goodness.
that
Wow.
time frame.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah,
yes.
about 50, 60, somewhere up in that range. Uh, and his mother, Elma Jackson Clay, would sit on the first pew, right by the aisle, right in front of the pulpit. And she was there every Sunday morning, every revival, every Bible study, you name it. So seeing those images, on that side of the root, uh, man, it's no wonder how I'm sitting here talking to you about the prodigal return. So again, I kind of want to leave it at that for the sake of our time, because I could spend this whole
No,
segment
you
talking
good.
about it. But
No,
but
you good.
the prodigal, something in your spirit, it made you coin this live stream today. The prodigal
Not because I know your
returns.
story. That's why. Because I know
Yes,
your story. And
yes,
you know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be valuable for people to hear it. I want them to hear what it
yes,
means for you to be in the seat of the prodigal, because I see prodigal differently than some people. There's
yes,
two sides of it for me. One side is that, the one you hear about all the time. The person left home early or before their time, and they went out there, got into some scrapes and whatever, and then they return home to step into whatever calling and destiny looks like. Another side
yes.
is like the person who said, you know what? I don't trust God's timing.
Mm,
I don't want to wait for what belongs to me. I want mine right now.
that's it.
Even if, no matter what it costs me, I still want it now. So this
Yes.
two sides of the prodigal for me, but I want to focus more on the other side, the more common side. Do you consider yourself a prodigal?
I do, Yusef, 100%, bro. Like when we were down in Tampa, Florida, uh, a couple weekends ago, Yusef, you've heard me speak before, and a lot of times that excuse me, that prodigal, it takes over. Like
Hmm.
it literally takes over. I can prepare what I'm gonna speak about, and I know I'm gonna chip off the old block when it comes to the pops. He's been ministering, preaching for so many years, and I talk to him a lot. Like he's my personal speaking coach. It's my pops, because I have from knee high toddler, I've seen him speaking to people.
Okay.
And I saw him speak in his most honest way. Saturday night he'd be in his pastor's study with the old school yellow tablet with the lines on it, and he'd be writing, and then he'd go upstairs, go to bed. And I'd sneak in there. Oh, he's gonna be talking about Daniel and the Lions Den tomorrow. I got him. Yusuf, I got him. So I'm walking to the church next morning. I'm thinking I'm one up on everybody, Yusuf, because I knew what Daddy gonna talk about. Man, he start, man, getting that spirit of the Holy Ghost. Uh he might start talking about Jesus is a phone call away, whatever it may be. And I'm sitting in the back like, man, he ain't said one word about Daniel. And we get back in the car after church, and I'm like, Daddy, I thought you was gonna preach about Daniel. Another light bulb lesson. He would always say, hey, when God moves, son. You don't get in the way of when God moves. Because the message may have been for someone, matter of fact, I know it for someone that God intended for that message to be. So, light bulb for me. I'm sitting in Tampa and I'm like, man, I've been thinking about what I wanted to, address, but man, that prodigal aspect of it took over. And next thing you know, I'm explaining your question, exactly. Do you feel as a prodigal? Do you see yourself as a prodigal? Absolutely, emphatically, yes. Because I remember standing at the front porch, ringing the doorbell, my pops coming to the door, looking him in his face saying, Dad, I don't want to be out in these streets no more. I want to come home. Money done dried up. Just scavenging what I'm gonna eat. Into some skirmishes and situations out in them streets that I was trying to get away from and avoid. Couple cats looking for me, maybe. And my dad said, nah, going back out there where you belong. That's where you want to be. You ain't got no business here. I see mama standing back behind him, bro. Just picture that yourself. I see mama standing behind him. Man. She's quiet. She's just looking like, yeah, that's my son. That's my baby boy. There's three of us. I got an older sister, older brother. And my pop's straightforward. Like, nah, you ain't coming up in here with that mess. I don't even know what you got in your pockets. Police coming behind you, like, what's going on? Why are you here? Next thing you know, I'm crying, bro. And like, mama, she ain't saying nothing. My daddy said, why you think you're gonna come up in here? And I was like, cause this is home. I need y'all type thing, man. Real talk, Yusuf. Like I go within internally every time I talk about it, man, because that moment is like it happened 15 minutes ago for me. And he said, you know what? All right. So you saying you want to get yourself together? I do. All right, come here. He turned the light on in the living room. Mama got that old school wooden piano sitting there in the living room. He said, man, get on your knees right now. Yes, sir. I get on my knees, man. He started praying, Yusuf. And Yusuf, man, as we are on this live stream right now, 10 March 2026, bro. Dog, I've seen my daddy pray my entire life, but I ain't never seen him or felt that raw emotion of that particular prayer that he was praying in that moment. Because it literally, and we've talked about it over the years.
Oh yeah.
It was like he told me, it was a life or death situation, son. Like, you my son, I brought you into this world. And no matter how much I tried to keep you, you still strayed and went on the path you went. And in that prayer, that was the only thing left. I knew to give it to God in the best way I know how. And I just remember he was praying out loud, man. He was stroking the back of my neck, Yusuf. He was going from the bottom of my neck up. He just kept stroking my neck. He's come out of him, Satan. Come out of him. You will not take my son.
Deliverance. Here we go.
Yeah, and I started vomiting, Yusuf, and man, I started vomiting, bro. And I was dealing with weed, cocaine, crack, dealing with it, bro. That's what was running through them streets in that era of time.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you got heroin and many other things. None of the crap, we talking about today, fentanyl and all that. Back then, that's what it was. And when I vomited, like I was telling them down in Florida, bro, it looked like dog vomit. I just remember real sudsy, just white, sudsy, just looked like snot dog vomit. And it
Mm.
was like everything I'd ever inhaled in my life up to that point, getting high. And anything I snorted in my nose, bro, it seemed like it all came out. And that was in late 1997. Like I want to say
Okay.
either November or December of 97.
Okay.
And to wrap it up, bro, like I just said, it's March 10th, 2026, bro. I've never touched it since.
I love it.
From that prayer, bro. Like I never touched it since. And here's the most profound beauty of it. As you and I both understand and share Yusef as brothers, we understand the part when he said, "Rise, my son, and give thanks to the Father, for you are healed." And I remember I got up and man, I'm kind of discombobulated a little bit. Mama crying, sitting on the piano stool. She's crying and giving thanks. And I said, "Thank you, Lord." You know, and there's somebody out there right now. They could potentially be listening to this and laughing, bro. They could literally be laughing right now. The little hee-hees, ha-has, because they like, man, whatever, man. That's nah, bro. I'm telling you, right now, live in the flesh, bro. I've not touched it since. I know that prayer was consecrated. It was ordained, and in that moment, my life truly changed, bro. It was like the taste, the desire, the trigger of the smell, all of that went away. So when I hear other people say it, like my good buddy Theodore Scott, Teddy, he was on heroin. Same thing, shooting up. Same similar situation. He ain't touched the sense, bro. So the power of God is real, bro.
It's real
It
power.
really is real. Yeah.
It's real power. I want to pivot a little bit because I got a lot of things I want to ask you. I want you to try to get through it a little bit. Two-part question about your service in the military. What made you decide to, well, I guess it's a three-part question, I guess. What made you decide to go in and stay for 23 years? And what do you believe was a light bulb lesson for you in being in the military that you're still walking out today, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it does.
Why'd you go in? Why'd you stay for as long as you did? And what was the lesson for you as you came out?
Absolutely, brother. So it goes back to my pops again.
Okay.
You know, this is all chronological, and I don't want to draw it out like you said for the sake of time, but that was end of December. I'm sorry, end of 1997.
Okay.
As Christmas rolled around, January, I ended up enrolling in a little community college. It was mainly based on the chick I was kicking it with at the time. She went there. She said, "Oh, you should go to school." You know, so I enrolled. I wasn't there for a hot minute, man. To where I realized, bro, like I- this ain't what I would desire for it to be. But one of those particular afternoons, my pops picked me up. We're riding, and out of nowhere, Yusef, he said, "Son, you ever thought about joining the military?" And I was like, I'll never forget looking out the window of that car. Almost like it was almost like it was disrespectful. Like, "Hey, you asking me about some military, bro? You out of your mind." A lot of young cats feel right now. You know, they looking at who's in the seat of the presidency, and just that by itself deters many young brothers, particularly African American young brothers, from wanting to take that step. I was in that same mindset back then. I don't even remember who the president was. Maybe Clinton, maybe somebody. But for me, it was just, I'm too cool for some military, bro. Like what I look like out here trying to be on some Rambo. That's crazy, bro. But it was what he said. It was my pop saying, "Son, if I could go back to your age, I would have did it." He said, "Because I was drafted. But the only reason why I didn't go is because a young Caucasian girl that was in one of my classes, mom worked down at the courthouse. And when she saw my name on the roster, she asked me if I knew her daughter." And I told her yes. Once I told her yes, she was like, yeah, my daughter talks about you all the time. She said, you're a good color. Exact words out of my pop's mouth. And she said, son, do you really want to go to the military? And my dad was like, I mean, if I don't have to go, I mean, and she signed something, said, go see that man over there. He took the paper over to that man. That man said, you're free to go. You're flat-footed. We don't want you. And my dad walked out of the courthouse. So he said, if I could go back to that moment, I would have did it. I wouldn't have did what I did, son. And we're right. He's driving. I'm looking out the window, bro, me mugging. And he said, one thing the military will do for you to make a man out of you, you'll get to see the world, son. You'll learn things that, as your father, I've tried to teach you, but we know sometimes a hard head make a soft butt, and all the trouble problems. Yeah, he's like, everything you've been into, they ain't gonna put up with that mess if you go there. At that time, I wasn't thinking about particularly one branch. I was just looking at military overarching. Like, bro, I got all these little chicks I'm kicking it with, and when you get sucked into that hometown environment of a mindset, it's hard to see anything outside of that when you got what's bubbling going on around you. And I had a lot of fear, Yusef. There was fear of leaving what I knew. Leaving what I knew. So he said, son, like I said, if it was up to me, I would have went. Even if you just did 4 years in it. I think he even said 2. Because back then you could do 2-year enlistments.
Really?
He was like, yeah, he was like 2 years. Well, at least so we thought. When I went in that recruiting station, they was like, hey, 4 years. I was like, well, that 2-year crap was a lie. But I know at one point you could enlist for 2 years. For sure, definitely in the Army. I don't know about the Marines, but again, Yusef, we had a gentleman that lived in our neighborhood named Troy. Shout out to Troy. Troy was in the Navy. He was actually a recruiter. And he was like, you should go talk to Troy. Fast forward, I'm sitting in the office talking to Troy. Troy starts talking about getting on the Navy ships. Next thing you know, I asked him the one burgeoning question, Yusef Marshall. I said, he asked me, you got any questions for me? I said, is it true that everybody in the Navy is gay? And he was like, do I look like I'm gay to you? He's like, heck, you see me and my wife playing out in the yard with our kids every day. Do I look like I'm? And I was like, no, sir, but I've always heard everybody out there on those ships, it's all males and a lot of them are homosexual. And he nipped it in the bud. He was like, no, it's not that. He was like, that you got to get out of that mindset. There's going to be something that you could point out everywhere you go. He said his piece. But when we left there, I just wasn't feeling it, man. It was something about, man, I don't want to be out on no big ship. I done been locked up. At that point, I'd been locked up before. So I was like, bro, I don't want to be in these small confines of being on some ship. And fast forward, bro, a good friend of mine, mentor, Tim Higgins, shout out to Tim Higgins. He had been in the Air Force for many years. And Tim Higgins was like, hey, man, you should go talk to the Air Force. He's like, but you can't lie to him. You got to be honest, Clay. Don't lie to him.
You went through all four branches, man.
Yeah. He's like, man, you cannot lie. He said, don't lie to him. Because I'll be honest with you, Yusef, at that point in time, it was just, man, it's 1997 going into 98. My daughter was born in 95. She's 30 today, but at that particular time, it was like, bro, I got to do something. Something got to be better than around here. You know what I mean? I got 2 felonies on my record at the time for possession. Like I said, been locked up. So now it's just kind of like, okay, pops and mom can only do what they could do. but Pops was putting that pressure on too, Yusef. Like, hey, boy, you a man. Like, hey, you a man. At the time, I was like 18, 19 years old. And he's like, boy, you got to do something. And man, I go talk to the Air Force. Dude asked me, have you ever done drugs? I said, oh, yeah. I'm thinking about what my buddy said. Be honest. Don't lie to him. Hey, have you ever smoked marijuana? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You ain't getting it.
Yeah, he's like, when's the last time you used marijuana? Yeah, a couple of days ago. Oh, okay.
You ain't getting it, Doc.
Have you used marijuana more than 10 times? Oh, yes, sir. Sometimes in a day. Like, that's nothing. We smoke blunts all day. From the time we wake up to the time we lay down. We smoking L's. So he stood up, stuck his hand out. Sorry, Mr. Clay, there's nothing the Air Force can do for you. When I walked outside, a vehicle pulled up, a little Corsica, government plates. Black dude gets out. He's like, hey, you going to the Air Force? Nah, man. I was too embarrassed to even tell him why. He's like, what are you doing out here then? I said, I just used the payphone. My people's about to come and pick me up. He's like, man, you need to come talk to me. And I was like, what branch are you? He's like, I'm a United States Marine. I was like, hell no, bro. Hell no. I said, no, y'all brainwashed. Because again, I'm going off and this is so parallel in terms with the light bulb lessons, because I'm going off of the light bulbs that were given to me that were not so much accurate. And that's why even with the light bulb lessons, Yusef, I always say, man, whether positive or negative, it's the light bulb can go off for some negative crap. And you find yourself out here doing something ridiculous, or it can be positive. You have to decide.
What was he out there doing? He was riding around the Air Force waiting to recruit somebody?
Well, they was all in the same plaza.
Oh.
So when he asked me, and I said, nah, man, y'all brainwashed. Same thing, just like when I asked Troy about, is everybody in the service, in Navy, homosexual, whatever, same thing with him. He was like, do I look like I'm brainwashed to you? And he was dead smack serious, bro. Like, and I was like, actually, nah, man, you really look pretty sharp, man. I like that uniform. And he had on the famous dress blue uniform with the gold buckles, man, and the high stock collar, gold eagle golden anchors. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, bro, dude, shining. Because think about it, it's 97, 98. Bling, bling. Everybody, hey, let's say they bling, bling.
Bro, you got to tell me how you stayed in there for 23 years, man.
Yo, so
how did you do that? Why did you do
that? So I did it based on those pivotal moments. Sergeant William Perry from St. Louis, Missouri, Yusef, was the young man standing there. He was only at the time maybe 23, 24 years old.
Okay.
He's like, man, you need to come talk to me. Matter of fact, you could call your dad from my office and tell him come down on this side of the plaza and pick you up. I said, all right, man, bet. We walk up in there. He was like, he said, man, I want you to take these little placard cards, these little plastic square cards. He said, I want you to take these. I'm going to scramble them up like dominoes. And I want you to put in order from top to bottom what each one of these means to you. And I promise you, bro, he said, I got to go in the back and grab something real quick. I'll be right back. He scrambled them up like dominoes, Yusef. I'm sitting there at the table. Nobody else is in the office, just me and him. Because I remember he unlocked the door when we walked in, turned the lights on in the Marine office. Man, I'm sitting there. He scrambled them joints. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't know exactly verbatim what each one of the cards say, but
that's fine.
I said, money. First thing. I got a daughter, bro. She's 3 years old. I'm like, bro, I need bread. Money. Remember what Pop said in the car. Travel. Other than that, man, I just thought I sit there. He came back in. He looked, Yusuf. He was like, yeah, man. Exactly what I thought, man. That's what all your young brothers say. And I'm thinking like, bro, you can't be too much older than me, but you're on the other side of the fence because you got a career, you got a job, you're sharp, you're driving a government vehicle on their gas money. And here I am trying to figure out what in the world I'm going to do. And man, he said, listen, man, I understand that, but I'm gonna show you what it is for me. Honor, courage, commitment, pride of belonging, teamwork. He put all of those attributes up there first, and then all the way down at the bottom of his stack, he had them in one sequential order, top to bottom: money, travel, all of that. He said, you might think this is crazy. He said, but you can't attain down here the things that you put up top without having these things first. And man, that was an ultimate light bulb for me, bro, because it hit home. Playing sports in high school, you know what I mean, before all the crazy trouble started, I understood what discipline is. I understand playing basketball. I played ball, man. Went to all the best camps around, the East Coast, St. John's camp. I've been to Georgetown Hoyas camp, been to University of Louisville's camp, Kentucky's camp, when Rick Pitino was there. So I understand the world of discipline. We walked outside when my pops pulled up. He greeted my dad. My dad was like, "You a Marine, ain't you?" He's like, "Yes, sir." He's like, nah, son, you ain't cut for that. You ain't ready for that. He's like, the Marines don't play, son. And no disrespect to the other branches, but hey, the Marines don't play. You got to be for real, for real. If you talking about being a Marine, hey, they the first ones to go. And I remember that same fear, bro. That same fear. Hearing my daddy say it gave me even more fear. Cause he was like, hey, they the first ones to go, Yusuf.
Yeah.
They the first ones. Like what we see right now, Iran.
You gotta tell me you stayed for okay. I know you went, but 23 years.
So I'm gonna give you the short, easy answer, bro. Because man, you my brother, dog. We can sit here and have these conversations all day and forget. We can sit here and forget that we're streaming and that somebody's watching this, bro. Because it's just so.
I can't let that happen. But
that's right. It's a natural, it's short burst, bro. Again, and if you're rocking with us out there today on the one-on-one, brother Yusuf, man, we appreciate y'all. Like all jokes aside, man, and hopefully, if you got somebody in your family, your young brother that's sitting in that cahoot of what should he do or what she should do, I'm telling you, these LightBulb lessons are real, man. And Yusuf's question is, why did I stay over 2 decades? Well, the short burst to that is, man, everything that he showed me on those placards became true. Everything, bro. The travel, man, I've seen the world, Yusuf. When you seen the world, bro, you view the world differently. Like I said, when you're in this bubble of your environment, and that's all you know, and that's all you see, a couple towns over, or what I mean, a state over, maybe even going all the way down to Florida for the summer and coming back up top where you're from or whatnot. I've seen the world, brother. So have I seen every square inch? Within my spirit, yes. But within the physical eye, no, I haven't. But I've seen my share. I've seen my fair share of the world. And so what Pop said was true. Son, you'll get to see the world. The other thing he said, it'll make a man out of you. Oh my goodness, bro. It made a man out of me because I was around other honorable men. I was around, I guess my cousins all was like, hey, bro, it ain't no blacks in the Marines. Like, there's no blacks in the Marines. As a matter of fact, keeping it a buck, they was like, man, them white boys gonna F you up, bro. As soon as you get in there, them white boys gonna F you up. And man, you're gonna come running right back here with your little thingy thing in between your legs. I don't mean to be graphic, you all, but it's just being real. And another fear, because I'm sitting there on the porch and we drinking 40s and blunt smoke, and I'm just sitting there like, man. But what I had to do, I had to say, hold up. none of them, other than one gentleman that was sitting on that porch. And shout out to him. His name is Bunky. Shout out to Bunky. Rest in power to my man Bunky. Bunky served in the Marine Corps. And I remember speaking to him about his journey within the Marines. I think he only did 4 years, got out, stayed down in Miami, and started another journey. But, you know, I had a sense of gentlemen around. Darren Smith, Quick, shout out to Quick, Tim Higgins. There was many brothers that was older than me that had went off to the service, but they had all, majority of them came back. Only a very few that still ain't went back. And not to say that we don't love home, but making a man out of you, a man, your home is where you lay your hat, bro. You know, my hat's in Georgia. I met a beautiful woman. Yeah, you're right, bro. Man, but truth be told, bro, like 2 decades, man, I was enjoying it. I was seeing things, man. First duty station was California, man. I never been out to the West Coast before that.
Yeah,
I get out there summertime with Tim's on, with the Tom Flappy hanging, with the ill NY Yankee cap on, man. Yeah, Lord. Hey, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, good luck with that, bro.
Oh my God. But man, I tell you, it was good, man. Like I when I look back now, I'm just grateful, man. I'm grateful because we all got to have a sense of doing something. And I'm seeing that now, you know, working with different people in this leadership coaching space.
Yeah.
They're still, you know, what I would say almost in their second childhood, bro. It's like you're 56, you know, but you never really doubled down on that one thing. Just like we're saying here, one-on-one, that one thing. I'm glad that I had some sense of courage with all of that fear to take the deep dive leap towards that one thing. So now I can sit back and then I can enjoy the fruits of that labor of knowing that, bro, I dedicated, you know, that time in service, met a lot of great people along the way, along the journey. But more important, prodigal wise, I found myself, bro. All the things that I love was there. I could play football on the weekends with the other Marines. I could go hoop every day after work. And some of the best battles I ever had on the basketball court was with Marines. I'm not saying jail style ball, but man, because you got people, it's a melting pot from all over the globe. Well, yeah, somewhat, yeah, but you know what I mean. You got brothers from Florida, Texas, brothers from Chicago, and only the best of the best is going to get on that court. So it was like all the things that I had lost in translation of the drugs and running the streets and loss of identity. I found all of that. And obviously getting promoted, and you know, the Marine Corps is like any other entity. They're gonna always dangle it over your head, man. You like the little greyhound chasing the rabbit on the track. Same thing. You know, they're gonna always, okay, what's next? And I'm just grateful. I made it to the highest rank, man, E9. I saw that vision when I was in boot camp in 1998. Once I was able to physically see that, man, if I do the right thing, if I try to operate in a righteous mindset, not saying holier than thou perfect, but man, if I strive to do the right thing, I already tasted what the wrong thing is. I physically seen it come up out of my mouth onto my mama's nice carpet in the living room. I saw it. And I saw once God removed that, why would I keep doubling down on the negative? Let me double down on some of this positive over here, bro. But to go that route, some things you got to let go. And we talk about it all the time, man. People, places, and things, man. Some people you got to let go, bro. Some places you can't roam no more. You know, some things you just can't absorb, you can't do. So and sometimes for the people who still operating within those people, places, and things, on the negative side of the track versus the positive, they could see that as arrogancy. How do I know? Because I was there. You know, how you going to come trying to tell me I shouldn't get high? Well, I'm telling you shouldn't get high because it's not bad for you, or it's bad for you, or whatever. I can see that again, there's only one way, Yusef, and you know what that way is. There's only one way, in my opinion, and I'll take
Definitely.
that to the grave, bro.
That opinion has been expressed on the show multiple times, so that's not. It's not even a secret. We do a rapid fire, man. I still got questions for you.
Yeah, sure.
Fire,
Hey, bro.
I can't have Miss Clay looking at me sideways. I can't have that.
This could be part. This could be part one.
Huh?
I said this could be part one.
Part one. You can't have Miss Clay getting on me, all right? I don't need that heat in my life, okay?
Hey, she know we speaking about the goodness of God down here right now, so she know that.
Okay, you better get that thing clear over there.
Like Stephen Miller say, bro, where two or three gather.
Okay. All right. I don't need no problem. So get that thing clear on your side, all right? That's all I'm saying. Get it straight over there. Cool. But for you, man, biggest challenge, rapid fire, as a father and a husband, what do you think the biggest challenge has been for you?
Man, rapid fire, biggest challenge as a father and a husband. Self.
Explain.
It's self in a way of coming into that. Excuse me, yourself, and the listeners and the viewers, coming into that self-actualization of self, that realization of who I am as a man. Like I told you, sitting with pops, wayward, life topsy-turvy, to it'll make a man out of you. Now, when I say it, do I give all credence and credit to the Marine Corps of me being the man I am today? No. It starts back here, brother. Like I originally said, it starts back to the root. I was just put in a position. I understand my position. I understood in the military, like my dad said, you screw this up, son. Hell, it ain't nothing left. If you're going to do anything right, at least try to do this right. So same goes for my children. I want to do right by my children. Me and my wife had an amazing conversation 2 days ago when we were talking about young fellas without their father. Something that we talk about on the Men's Roundtable series quite often. Shout out to all of them brothers. I want to do right by my children, bro. I really want my son one day to hopefully say, I was riding in the car one day with my dad, and he asked me, man, why do you want to go to Howard versus going to Georgia Tech versus going to University of Georgia? Why do you want to go all the way up to DC to Howard? I pray he has those, and it's only going to come into fruition for him based on me being present. So challenge-wise, if you're going to go all in for anything that you do, in my case, United States Marine Corps, if I want to make it to the top, E9, top of that ladder, I got to go all in. I can't do what the average does. I got to go beyond the average, bro. I got to run on the weekends when everybody else is running, and I know they're running, so I got to go further than what I know they're running. Because we're all in the even Kahoot playing field here. I got to do the things necessary, like Jerry Rice, bro. Jerry Rice was so dope on that field and is considered arguably the best receiver of all time because Jerry Rice was constantly out there running them California dang on hills, bro. So if he's constantly doing like this, and then when he gets on the field on Sunday, he's doing like this, come on, man. I can't make it up. So, and I know you love football, Yusef, them Giants, if I got to say my top 15 quarterbacks of all time, I'm throwing Eli Manning in there. I'm throwing in one of the greatest plays ever was that scramble when they was pulling him and he flicked it off somehow and he still got it off, bro. That you have to operate that same way for your children. And I got brothers that do that, man. Shout out to Ross Blaine, man. Shout out to Evans Jambier. Those two guys, I always say, are the dopest, most outstanding fathers I've ever met in my entire life. Those two dudes.
High praise. It's really high praise, man.
The challenge is self, man. Coming into that actualization. And I say this from the leadership coaching hat. I know every brother out there that could potentially be listening to this right now. If you're not in that position, bro, and I'm talking to you directly, whoever you are, man, black, white, Puerto Rican, Mexican, it don't matter. If you have a child, regardless of age, bro, you still have a choice. Many of us brothers, I believe we get to that point where we let the relationship with the mom start making the decision in terms of how we are with our children. It may not be the most ideal. You may not live in a home. Your child may be in another state, but you still have a choice. You got a choice, bro. Even if you go to the police station and say, hey, my son lives on 12 Lenox Ave. I'm just going to pull up because I just want to be close to my son. I'm not going to go in the house. I'm not going to ring the doorbell. No relationship with the mom. She hates my guts. But I just want to be close to my son. I'm not trying to stalk him, spy on him when he's walking to the bus. But you have a choice because that child one day is going to say, and I've heard you say it, Yusef, like, why? What was it about me that you really didn't want no part of? Whether you're a grown man and you have the opportunity to look at your biological, those things are so real. So we all have a choice, bro. So it's self, man. It's self. Yeah.
Yeah, this is good, brother. We like we said earlier, we can always talk about a whole bunch more stuff, man. But we gotta go ahead and shut it down, man. But thank you for your time and being here, and you're definitely a dynamic, motivational speaker. There's no question about that part. Fantastic husband, father, leader, entrepreneur, professional, man. You doing all of that stuff and then some, man. And the mentor part and the personal development part as Coach T.O., man. So thank you for being here and being a part of this conversation. It means so much to me. You mean so much to me, man. So thank you for being here. Shout out to Siobhan jumping in. Children was over. You jumping in on late. I don't know what that's about, man. I'm gonna deal with that. I ain't got nothing to say on that. But thank you again for being a part of my life and a part of this show, man. We're gonna do this again real soon, brother. For you guys watching and listening, upper right-hand corner of the screen is a QR code. Grab that so you can check out all of our one-on-one episodes like this one and many more to come. God bless you guys. Thanks for watching and for listening. That's Coach T.O. Clay. I'm Mr. U.